And while fans used to speculate quietly about whether these two were eerily cool or just playing nice for the cameras, what's gone down lately makes it crystal clear this is war. And it's not just reality TV anymore. This feud jumped off the screen and landed right in the real world with social media shade, shifting alliances, and some straight-up strategic moves. Now, here's what a lot of people missed in the early days. Melody actually gave Tiffany a real shot. When Tiffany first showed up, bold and blunt as ever, most of the cast wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet. But Melody, she defended her, backed her, said out loud what most people wouldn't. Sometimes the truth hurts, but that doesn't mean the person saying it is wrong. That was big because when you've got Melody in your corner on Love and Marriage Huntsville, it means you've got protection, respect, a platform. But see, when someone gives you that kind of spotlight, they expect loyalty back. And that's where things started to slip. Tiffany's personality is built around being unfiltered. She'll say what's on her mind and smile while doing it. Some fans loved her for that. Others thought she was poking the bear just to get attention. But when that blunt energy turned toward Melody, especially during sensitive moments, it started to hit different. There were comments about Melody's personal life, questions that didn't seem innocent, and jokes that felt just a little too pointed. Melody didn't pop off right away, but you could see the shift in her eyes. It's that look when someone you vouched for starts making you look crazy. It wasn't obvious at first. It was in the body language, the subtle clapbacks, the way Melody will go quiet instead of defending Tiffany like she used to. And then came the group scenes, the reunions, the parties. The let's all sit down and talk moments where Tiffany would drop a comment that stopped the room cold. One in particular flipped everything. Tiffany tossed out what she framed as a curious question about Melody's situation. Innocent on paper, shady in execution. The entire vibe changed. Melody froze. Everyone else held their breath. That wasn't just a dig, that was betrayal. Social media clocked it in real time. Team Melody and Team Tiffany started trending like they were rival sports teams. People weren't just reacting, they were investigating, watching clips back, dissecting expressions, arguing in comment sections like their lives depended on it. This wasn't playful drama anymore. It was real emotion, real fallout, and real consequences. Melody's supporters accused Tiffany of clout chasing, of using Melody's name to build her own relevance. Tiffany's defenders clapped back, saying she was the only one bold enough to speak truth on camera. But no matter what side you were on, one thing was clear. This friendship, or whatever it was, had cracked beyond repair. And then came the aftermath. Tiffany didn't walk it back. She didn't soften her stance down in interviews. She doubled down, claiming she wasn't there to sugarcoat anything. Melody, meanwhile, made it clear through her actions that she was done playing nice. No public blow-up, no screaming match, just silence, distance. And that signature Sherry poise thatlets. You know, she's not about to give you another chance to cut her. But if you thought it would end there, you clearly don't know how reality TV or real life works. Because behind closed doors, things were brewing that would take this feud to a whole new level. And when those alliances and secrets came to light, it wasn't just personal anymore. It was tactical, was explosive, and the whole cast felt the shockwave. The moment producers realized just how much this rift was driving viewership, they leaned all the way in. You could practically see the setups, event after event, forced interactions. Awkward group dinners where everyone smiled for the camera but kept their eyes on. Melody and Tiffany like someone had lit a match in a room full of gasoline. The energy shifted every time they entered the same space. You didn't need dialogue to feel the frost in the air. That's when people started whispering about manipulation. Not just between Melody and Tiffany, but by everyone else. Two cast members who once played the middle suddenly had agendas. Kimmy tried to play peacekeeper, but even she started moving. differently, dodging questions and interviews and avoiding eye contact when things got tense. Letitia, who already had her own messy history with Melody, seemed oddly comfortable watching it all unfold. She never said much, but her expressions said everything. And Morrow, he practically rolled out the red carpet for Tiffany's boldness, calling her real in a way that made fans feel like he'd been waiting for someone to go at Melody for a long time. It wasn't just cast tension, it was Chess and Tiffany, played like someone who knew every move counted. She started making strategic friendships, especially with people who weren't Melody's biggest fans. Meanwhile, Melody stayed composed, but you could see her walls go higher. She stopped engaging in small talk, kept her answers short, and let the silence speak louder than any clapback ever could. It wasn't that she couldn't fight. Everyone knows Melody can handle herself. It's that she chose not to give Tiffany the satisfaction. But Tiffany wasn't stopping. If anything, she started getting bolder, more calculated. She'd show up to events knowing exactly what questions to ask and which buttons to push. She'd bring up Melody's past, challenge her motives, and smile the whole time like she was just making conversation. Some fans were eating it up. Others felt like Tiffany was playing a dangerous game. And not just with Melody, but with her own reputation. Then came the interviews. On-camera confessionals turned into low-key attacks. Tiffany started hinting that Melody's brand was built on drama, that she knew how to play victim, and that people needed to stop being afraid of her just because she's been on the show longer. It was subtle at first, but over time it got louder. And by the time the reunion aired, the gloves were off. That reunion was the tipping point. Melody confronted her face to face. No more side glances or quiet distance. She laid it out. How she felt disrespected, blindsided, and used. Tiffany didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She smiled, crossed her legs, and said, "If you can't handle honesty, maybe I'm not your kind of friend." It was a slap in the face, without raising a hand, and fans were shook. That one moment fractured everything. It wasn't just that their relationship was over. It was that it had officially become public property. Every fan, every blogger, every podcast host weighed in like it was their personal business. And the theory started flying. Was Tiffany trying to take Melody's spot? Was she building a storyline off Melody's pain? And most importantly, was someone on production encouraging it? Because, let's be honest, the producers weren't innocent in all this. Every random sit-down, every conveniently timed group scene, every flashback edit was all designed to fuel the fire, and they got what they wanted. Ratings spiked, social media exploded, and suddenly Melody versus Tiffany wasn't just a feud, it was the main event, a showdown that sucked everyone in, whether they wanted to be part of it or not. And behind the scenes, the consequences were just getting started. Instagram became the battlefield, and every post was a potential landmine. Melody started dropping cryptic quotes about loyalty, snakes in the grass, and outgrowing fake connections. They were soft in tone, but heavy in meaning. Fans didn't even need to guess who they were about. Tiffany, meanwhile, went in a different direction. Her posts were bolder, more direct. She embraced the role of the unapologetic truth-teller, even if it meant burning a few bridges. Her captions talked about not shrinking for anyone and standing 10 toes down. It was obvious these two weren't just feuding. They were performing the feud for an audience. And the audience played right along. Entire fan pages were created to track the drama. People were digging up old clips, doing city-beside comparisons of shady moments, and building conspiracy theories about production interference. The timeline was flooded with arguments. Melody stans said she'd been stabbed in the back. Tiffany's supporters said she was just shaking up the status quo. Every like comment, and even the silence from other cast members, got dissected like it was part of a political scandal. Then the husbands got involved and things got messier. Louis, Tiffany's man, defended her in interviews. He painted her as misunderstood, someone who never meant to hurt anyone but refused to censor herself to fit in. He said Tiffany wasn't coming for Melody, she was just being real. But that defense didn't sit right with everyone. People started pointing out that being real doesn't mean being reckless. And when a man defends his wife by downplaying another woman's pain, the internet doesn't stay quiet. On the other side, fans of Melody highlighted how she'd always carried herself with grace, even when being provoked. They praised her restraint, her calm, her refusal to stoop to certain levels. But they had to admit this feud had gotten to her. You could hear it in her voice during live streams, see it in her eyes during interviews. She wasn't just angry. She was tired. Tired of the cameras, the fake energy, the never-ending cycle of backstabbing that came with keeping the show hot. Things reached a peak when producers allegedly arranged a one-on-one sit-down between Melody and Tiffany. It was supposed to be themament of resolution, or at least clarity. Files and insiders say the whole thing